Hello, Unlimited friends. Today I want to address a question from Andrea, and if you haven't had the chance to read the question, I am going to read it to you. So the question is, Zara, what would you say is a parent's role in supporting our children when they are low on the emotional scale? Lots of intensity and emotions while we are all home during COVID, and I'm finding it hard to detach from their emotions. Andrea, thank you for this question. Brilliant question. I know that there are a lot of people going through the exact same thing that you're going through. And the way I'm going to address your beautiful question is I'm going to divide it into two parts. Because to me, there are two questions in here. One is more general and it's about how we should support our children. And the other one has to do with COVID and the situation at home. So, what is a parent's role in supporting our children? The answer is there is no role. The universe has not given us any role or any responsibility towards our children except to give birth to them and to love them. Our children only ever need that one thing from us after they are born, and that is love. You have to start understanding that if a child wanted something or needed something, that the universe has the means and wherewithal to provide it without you being the conduit through which those things are delivered to the child. So, a parent's role in supporting a child is to provide that child with love. And that completely relates to helping them when they're low on the emotional scale. Because people absorb each other's energy and vibration. Your children as well absorb your vibration. When you're in a bad mood, your child knows it. When you're in a good mood, your child knows it. Your child is psychic towards you and is extremely sensitive to your energy. So, a child can sense your energy and you can sense their energy as well. The best thing for you to do when dealing with your child in order to help them come back up on the emotional scale is to not join them when they drop low. So when a child drops on the emotional scale from being happy, go lucky, and everything is fantastic and full of energy, and then suddenly they're angry, or they're just upset or sad. If you feel for them, you join them. What you should feel for them is love. Because when you feel love for them, they feel that unconditionality, the stability of your love. It helps them to become stable as well. When somebody drops on the emotional scale, they're not stable. It's like falling from a 10-story building. That's what it feels like when you go plummeting down the emotional scale. So, if you have a friend who is stable and can show you how to be stable, that's when you are really supporting. That's when you are really helping by teaching children that stability can be maintained and that being unconditional towards the conditions is what happiness is all about. Because a child naturally gravitates towards happiness, and when they feel that their joy has been taken away from them, that is when they plummet down the emotional scale. Well-meaning parents, extremely well-meaning parents, make rules. This is what you will eat, this is when you will sleep. And when you do that, when you make those rules for children, you take away the child's ability to listen to his or her own guidance. I learned this from Abraham and I experimented with it because I've never been the kind of parent to have too many rules in my house, but I did have a rule on when you're going to wake up, when you're going to go to school, and when you're going to go to sleep. And when I started listening to Abraham, I decided to take those rules away and let my children figure it out on their own. So I made suggestions. It would be nice if you went to sleep now. And if my son said no, I would let him stay awake because I wanted him to experience the consequences of not being able to wake up in the morning, which would not feel good, and to be either okay with the consequence of not going to school or not be okay and decide that it was important for him to go to school. I let him make the decision rather than I make the decision and hand it over to him. So the intensity in your household, so now I'm addressing the second part of your question. The intensity when people are together comes from your belief that your children and you have to behave in a certain way, and if they are not behaving in that way, then a correction is required. Hang on one second, let me grab my dog. So what happens oftentimes is that we expect other people to change their behavior, and more than any other people, we want our children to change their behavior and conform to what we think is the sort of behavior they should have or should display. And so what we do is we want children to play well together. And we usually tend to not like it when they go overboard with having fun. We tell them to quiet down. We tell them to be nice to each other. But in reality, we don't have to do any of that. We don't have to ask them to quiet down, because if they get it out of their system, they'll quiet down on their own. If they have a problem with one of their siblings, let them sort it out themselves, because they do have guidance. If you teach your children that you're going to be the one to step in and sort things out, then forever they will be dependent on someone outside of them to come and sort things out for them. And they will not listen to the guidance that's coming inside them, which is already guiding them towards what they should do. All they have to do is to listen to their own guidance. They don't need to listen to you. They need to listen to their own guidance, which is telling them to be nice. When it comes from their own guidance, it feels like the right thing to do. When it comes as guidance from a parent, there's pushback. Because who are you to tell me? I have my own guidance. Why should I listen to you? And my guidance just now is telling me to be angry. So let me be angry so that I can get the anger out of my system and go back up the emotional scale. And that's why children will be upset with each other for a few minutes. You've been that child, and I certainly have been that child, with lots of cousins and getting together in the summer and spending the summer with my cousins. Of course we fought with each other. But 10 minutes later, we forgot all about it. Our parents never forgot. They always remembered. In fact, they reminded us years later what we had fought about. Whereas we forgot 5 minutes later. We did not remember, and we were playing again and having fun again. If you just leave your children alone, they will start depending on themselves to figure out how to go up the emotional scale. Every child is capable of doing that. And we never, ever, ever, ever need to interfere. We never need to tell our children what to do. Yes, that means having a messy house, but it's only a messy house if you think it will be. You see, everything conforms to our belief systems. If we believe that our children will behave in a certain way, then they will behave in that way. If you think that, it's always going to end up in a fight or some sort of trouble, or, things that you will have to sort out, then you will always be that one who is sorting things out. I'm finding it hard to detach from their emotions, is your line which catches my attention. Lots of intensity and emotions. I think this is a brilliant opportunity for you and your children to learn something about how beliefs work and how law of attraction works, right? The only thing children need to understand, and they already intuitively understand this, is that their siblings love them as well, that their siblings care for them as well. All a child needs to know is that they are loved by their parents. They are not judged. Their attitude, their behavior is not labeled as either good or bad, appropriate or inappropriate. That's all a child ever wants or needs. Because if you can become so unconditional that nothing your children do bothers you, you will become the best parent in the world. Finding it hard to detach from their emotions. Well, you don't have to detach. That's a very strong word. What you have to do is to acknowledge their emotions, understand how they feel, but do not join them. I can feel for someone who is hurt without being hurt, right? And that's the difference. That's the difference. Someone who is a teacher has the ability to remain stable and give that stability or that confidence to the student to say that the student can learn. Imagine a teacher who's sitting in the front of the class and a child makes a mistake and the teacher says, "You're just stupid. You just can't figure this out, can you? You're so stupid. Why did you even bother coming to class?" Teachers don't do that, do they? What do they say to the children in their class? "You can do this. Come on. I know you can figure this out. Let me help you. Let's figure it out together." Right? And that is the same attitude that you need to take with your children. Don't make them feel inappropriate. Don't make them feel less than. Don't categorize the behavior of one child as being better than the other child, because now you're taking sides, and when you're taking sides, you are not an unconditional parent. An unconditional parent will say, "You have a problem with each other? Go sort it out. I know you both care about each other, and I love both of you, and I'm not going to take sides with anyone. I know that you can sort this out yourself." Have confidence in your child's ability to sort it out. Have confidence in the fact that they have guidance and they have the ability to listen to that guidance. And that's how you bring up confident kids. Because if they're always depending on your guidance, then they will never be confident. They'll always be unsure. They'll be that child who is so unsure about what to say to the parent next. Should I tell them? How should I tell them? Oh, this is really hard. How should I say this? And then they worry about it and they lose sleep over something simple that they need to communicate with their parent. Why? Why do children become like that? Children weren't born like that. They learnt that. And the one thing I want to say to you is that the vibration of the parent is what rubs off on the children. A happy parent makes for a happy child. And a parent who is strung up and anxious the children pick up on that and then they make it about themselves. Mom's upset. What did I do to make her upset? Right? Or how did I contribute to this problem? Or I must be the problem. Or my sibling must be the problem. So now I'm going to hate my sibling because that person is the reason why my mother is unhappy or my father is unhappy. So now I am going to lose my ability to be unconditional towards my sibling. See, this is how it works. If you demonstrate being unconditional, then your children will learn that being unconditional is the best way to be. And as you change your vibration and you become someone who can maintain your emotional stability under all circumstances, your home will just be such a happy place. Everyone will thrive. Everyone will be happy. Happy will be bouncing off the walls. That's how happy you will be. Everyone who walks into your house will feel the difference in its vibration. So just be lighthearted about it and don't try to interfere too much in what your children are doing because they're learning as they are doing. And if we leave them alone, they learn better. So that's all I have to say to you. Thank you so much for this amazing question. I think that because of COVID-19, there's going to be so much growth around the world in the way relationships evolve and people start understanding the value of relationships and people start appreciating their own value, the value of their own stability. Take care, my dear. Thank you so much for your brilliant question, and I look forward to more questions from you. Bye for now.